Psychological warfare, defense, how not to be predictable. Good. You've already seen how narratives are constructed. You've seen how they spread. Now comes the part that most people avoid. Defense. Not theory. Not superficial advice. Royal defense. Because understanding the system, it doesn't make you immune. In fact, makes you a more sophisticated target. If you react the same as everyone, you are still part of the mechanism. The only difference is that now you know why. That's not defense. That is consciousness without control. And consciousness without control, it doesn't change the result. Today we are going to see something different. Not how the system works, but why people fail to resist it. And more importantly, how to avoid those mistakes. Case 1. Immediate reaction when speed eliminates thought. Imagine this. You receive information. A message. A video. A headline. You don't analyze it. You feel it. Gunner. Fear. Indignation. And you react. You share. You comment. You line up. That moment is the critical point. Because in that moment, you are not deciding. You are responding. And that difference is absolute. Now let's see it in detail. During recent conflicts, political, social, international, the same pattern is observed. An event occurs. Before there is complete information, there are already conclusions. People take a stand. They defend positions. They attack others. All in minutes. Because? Because emotion precedes analysis. The brain has two modes relevant here. Fast and slow. Fast mode is automatic. React. Slow mode is analytical. Evaluate. The problem is that the modern system is optimized to activate fast mode. Speed. Urgency. Emotional load. All designed to avoid slow mode. Because slow mode reduces reaction. And the reaction, it is what the system needs. Now see the consequence. If you react immediately, you don't verify. You don't question. You don't contextualize. You just amplify. And that makes you part of the system. Not an observer. In vector. Operational lesson? Delaying your reaction is not weakness. It's control. Because time. It is the only thing that breaks the automatic cycle. Case 2. Accept the framework, lose without realizing. Now something more subtle. More dangerous. The frame. Imagine that you read this. This event shows that the system is failing. If you answer, it's not failing that much. You already lost. Because? Because you accepted the premise. You accepted that the event proves something. You accepted that there is an implied conclusion. And now you're just adjusting the degree. Not questioning the basis. That's what the framework does. Defines the thinking space. And everything that happens within that space is already limited. This is used constantly. Political debates. Social issues. Media narratives. An interpretation is presented as if it were the starting point. And most people, he accepts it without noticing it. Now see the effect. Two people argue. They seem opposite. But both are within the same framework. That's not real conflict. It is controlled variation. Operational lesson? If you don't question the framework, you're not thinking. You are reacting within limits defined by someone else. Case 3. Information overload, when knowing more makes you weaker. Now something counterintuitive. More information? It doesn't always improve your defense. It can destroy it. Imagine being constantly exposed to news, opinions, analysis, reactions, all day, without pause, no filter. Result: cognitive fatigue. And fatigue has specific effects. Reduces attention, reduces memory, reduces analytical capacity. Then the brain does something efficient. Simplify. Look for shortcuts. Accept quick releases. This is exactly what the system needs. A tired mind. It is easier to influence, because he has no resources to resist. Now look at the modern pattern. Highly informed people, but highly reactive. They consume everything, but they don't process. They do not integrate. They don't filter. Result: confusion. And confusion leads to something dangerous. Delegation. Someone else must understand this. I'm going to trust this source. And there you lose control. Operational lesson? Defense is not consuming more. It is to select better. Deep defense mechanics. Now the essentials. Real defense is not cumulative. It is not knowing more data. It is changing behavior. 3 variables. Time, attention, emotion. Control those 3. And you drastically reduce your vulnerability. Time. Don't react immediately. Attention. Don't consume everything. Emotion. Do not act in intense states. This does not remove the system, but it breaks its effect on you. Integrated history. The individual who breaks the cycle. Imagine 2 people. Both receive the same content. Same narrative. Same emotional stimulus. The first one reacts. Share. It lines up. Argue. The second wait. Observe. Look for context. Question the framework. Hours later. Maybe days. Forms a conclusion. Result: 2 completely different trajectories. The first is integrated into the system. The second remains independent. Not because I'm smarter. Because you control your process. Operational lesson? The difference is not capacity. It is cognitive discipline. Inventory. 1. Quick reaction eliminates thought. 2. The framework defines the limits of discussion. 3. Overload reduces critical capacity. 4. The system exploits speed, emotion and fatigue. 5. Defense is control, not knowledge. Conclusion. You can't log out of the system, but you can stop being predictable within it. And that changes your position completely. Because the system works by patterns. And if you break the pattern, you stop being useful to him. That's real defense. In the next episode, let's integrate everything into one complete case. Step by step. From event to total narrative control. See you in the next episode.